Happy Halloween, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. We have a new World Series champion, and it is the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Isn't it weird that the year that they win it's the year where everybody's hurt? Like, isn't that what's wild? That's the year. Like, I keep seeing people like, oh, they didn't earn their championship, they bought it. Almost everyone they bought, quote unquote, is injured. Like it's and even Otani is like that was I don't know if you watched the last couple of games since his shoulder dislocation, that was not Shohei Otani playing out there.
No, also, I don't know about you, but I am so over they bought the championship take. Like, there have been thousands upon thousands, it feels like, teams throughout professional sports that have tried to buy a championship and it's failed. Just because you have an owner who spends money because they have a lot of money, that's good. That's a good thing. That's not bad for baseball. Now, if you want to get into the discussion of a salary floor and a salary cap, that's fine. But right now, we do not have that. They pay their luxury tax. They pay their players. They're making more money. I heard today, read a thing today. They're making more money from Japan alone than they are paying Shohei Otani. Like, that's good business, is what you call that.
Game 2 of the World Series where Yamamoto started had more viewers in Japan than in the US.
Yeah,
Like that's incredible.
That's a Miles Michaelis take, and I'm really over it. Like, I get it, but all these every owner, I think, believe in Major League Baseball as a billionaire. They have the means to spend on their team. We just have a bunch of them who choose not to. Now, do the Dodgers spend more? Absolutely. Do they bring in more? Absolutely. They're the second largest market in the country, right? And they have one of the largest TV deals in the country. Good for them.
Also, the person I saw saying this was a Padres fan who literally has bought their entire team, so I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I don't think their payroll's as close to LA, right? And they are a smaller market, which
Yeah,
also
but
shows that you can do that.
Yeah, but they're paying Manny Machado and Bogarts and Tatis and like they're paying everybody. So I don't want to hear it. Musgrove and all those guys. How about the Yankees collapse?
Yeah, I do
to
have
the
a
Dodgers,
Yankee for everyone over my left shoulder here.
Yeah, before we get into that, because I just forgot, we're a Cardinals podcast. Congratulations to Tommy Edman and Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty had the highest ERA of any starting pitcher to go 5 or more starts in the postseason ever. And that's with having 2 amazing starts. It was a very weird postseason for Jack Flaherty.
It kind of sums up Jack Flaherty, to be honest with you, at times, not always, but good for him. Tommy Edman, a massive pickup for the Dodgers at the deadline. He's playing shortstop in the World Series for the Dodgers.
The game-winning run. The series-winning run.
Yeah, hitting fourth against lefties and then doing what he needs to do at the bottom of the lineup, stealing bases. He's a perfect fit for the Dodgers. So I don't think anyone is surprised to see him doing well in that lineup with all those guys around him where he can just be Tommy Edman.
He's a perfect fit for every team.
Yeah.
Every team. Like, there's not one team that wouldn't play. We had this conversation, I think, like 3 years ago when we just started this podcast, and you said Tommy Edman wouldn't start on every team in the postseason. And I was like, yes, he would. He would. He's a great player. He does so much.
You really stored that. You really stored that in the Rolodex to bring it out today,
because
didn't you?
You always were talking about how Tommy Edman's overrated. No, he's a great player. He just isn't a superstar.
Can we not say great? Can we say very good?
He's put up more WAR than 99% of people in the last 3 years. Like, he is a really, really good player.
He's top 1% in WAR.
How many players play in Major League Baseball? Probably not. But regardless,
okay, can we chill out a little bit?
He's had a 6-4 season before. Like, not many people do that. That is probably 1% of baseball players ever to put up 6-4 seasons. Probably.
Ever. Yes. Okay, now we just expanded the whole. So you love to change that yardstick.
Either way, he's a really good player.
Yeah, I agree. I'm happy for both of them. What a weird Game 5 of the World Series. Like, just bizarre. And Aaron Judge to drop that fly ball, then Volpe to make the error. Then that ball to take the baseball gods pissed all over New York City last night is what they did. Think about the things that happened. Judge will catch that ball 999,999 out of a million. Andy Volpe makes that throw. It's the right play. It's the right play. He just throws it into the dirt. And Rizzo makes that play, like you said, as a plan. Literally everything had to align for that to happen. And then you get Mookie Betts with the great at bat there at the end. I mean, even that ball that Teoscar hit, I'm not saying Judge should have caught it, but I thought there was a chance when it was hit that it was going to be caught.
Yeah, and I agree. And we were a couple crazy things not happening away from saying, oh my God, Aaron Judge is back and we're going to game 6.
Yes,
Because
and you've
that
got
homer hit was huge. He hit that double in the 8th inning when they were trying to come back off Trinan. And then that play he made in center field where he like crashed into the wall was incredible. I mean, it's just fundamental things. And we've been talking about this with the Yankees all year. Well, not we, but like Yankee fans. They're a bad fundamental baseball team. And just look at the plays. Aaron Judge took his eye off the ball. That's first day of baseball. Don't take your eyes off the ball ever. Anthony Volpe didn't set his feet. First day of baseball. Set your feet every time you're about to throw. And Anthony Rizzo and Garrett Cole just like did that play as bad as you could have, both of them.
yeah, we
So
agree. Another thing that
congrats to
I
the
think
Dodgers.
a lot of people are going to focus on that inning, which they're that's obvious,
They're going
especially if
across
you're a
the
Yankee
game.
fan or a baseball fan. But I've heard it said a lot, and I didn't get to watch the Dodgers in and out I all year long. But boy, that is I said it when the playoffs started, watching them a little bit more towards the end of the season and then into the playoffs. That's a fun team to watch play. They grind out at bats. They play defense as well as anybody in the game that I have seen. They are fundamentally sound. And also, Smoltzy brought it up last night, but Dave Roberts couldn't have managed the World Series any better. I don't think. I mean, he got, and then to bring in Walker Buehler. Like Walker Buehler said, he hadn't thrown a ball until he got up to get ready to come into the game last night. He had no clue that he was even. I don't even know that he thought he was an option. And to see him also, by the way, to see him at the obviously emotional with the interview with Ken Rosenthal there at the end of the night.
He thought he was going to get cut, is what he
Yeah,
said.
and 2 Tommy John surgeries, and he looked like vintage Walker Buehler in his start, and then to come out last night. And was it not perfect for it to be Alex Verdugo, who he just like absolutely shoved it right up his ass? That was incredible.
Yeah, that was great. And if the Dodgers want to do right by somebody, pay Walker Buehler a decent amount of
Don't
money next
don't you
year.
think they will, or do you think they
No,
let him walk?
I don't. I think he's gone. Do you see Corbin Burns quote tweeted it and had with an eyes emoji when they won the World Series? So he's getting his offseason started early.
You
No,
know
it
who
was
else
great.
is
And
getting? Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Oh, I was gonna say the last thing I want to say about the Yankees, and then we can put this to bed because there's Cardinals news today. Whatever kind of it's not the most fun news, but it is news. Um, I think I'm exhausted by Yankees fans saying World Series or bust, and that's who we are, and then anything else is a failure. You have won one World Series in the last 15 years. You
Right.
have won as many World Series in the last 20 years as the Nationals, as the Marlins, last 25 years, 24 years. I'm tired of hearing it. You're not the Yankees of Jeter, Posada, Pettit, A-Rod when he came over, Mark Teixeira. You're not that anymore. George
Clemens.
Steinbrenner's been dead for almost 15 years. So I'm tired of this, oh, but we're the big bad Yankees and we expect World Series or nothing. Change your expectations because they're unrealistic and your team's not that good.
You
I
could have
told
taken
you
out you could have taken out New York Yankees and put in St. Louis Cardinals and everything you just said.
no, because I don't think any Cardinal fan would be saying it's a failure if they got to the World Series and lost to the Yankees this
I
year.
agree. You're right. You're right.
So, and the thing that's so frustrating to me about this, now I lost my train of thought. I don't remember. It's just stupid. Like you're not going to win a World Series every year. This isn't the 1990s where half your players were cheating, by the way. So I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of hearing it. You're not the big bad Yankees. I think this series symbolized the Dodgers saying, "Hey, New York, there's a new New York Yankees, and it's not you anymore." Because
Well, to
how
be
fitting
fair and
was it? Go ahead.
to give you credit, you did say that no one in the American League can even touch the National League, and you were definitely, I think, correct. Now, to
Yeah.
be fair, if that 5th inning doesn't happen, we're on here today talking about the Game 6 preview
Yeah.
in tomorrow night. So, but it did happen, and you have to take that into account with both sides. The Dodgers taking advantage. Who better than Freddie Freeman? Shout out to be the
And
World Series
Teo.
MVP. Shout out, and then Teoscar, who did nothing in the NLCS but came on in the World Series. Love that for him. I'm intrigued to see where he ends up at the end of this year.
He should go back to the Dodgers, but I don't know if he will.
You were talking about Corbin Burns on business. You know who's standing on business is Juan Soto, and he didn't have 10 toes in like the song says. He got all 30. He said, "I am open for business for all 30 teams." And today I heard I don't remember who it was I was listening to say that they believe his contract begins with a 7, if not an 8, in the 100 million.
Yeah, they're wrong. That's not going to happen.
That's who was it? Oh, Carl Ravitch. Sorry, it was Carl Ravitch.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he's just wrong. But
That's
that's fine.
we'll
That's not
see.
going to happen. That's not unless he defers half of it. That's not going to happen. Um, Garrett Cole did the same thing after 2019 when they lost in the World Series with the Astros. He had the Boris hat on. It's that famous interview because he wasn't used in Game 7 against the Nationals when he was in the bullpen ready to be used. He had the Boris hat on. Do you think, before we get to the Cardinals, and thanks for sticking with us while we go over the World Series. Do you think Boris has meetings with these guys like during the World Series and says, when or if you lose, this is what you do? Because that would Juan Soto was Scott Boris was inside of Juan Soto. That sounds bad. Was possessing Juan Soto for
It
about
is Halloween.
for 10 minutes. Like that's what it was. He was Scott Boris for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sure that I'm sure he has regular contact with his agent. I would assume, yes, that there is regular talks going on
You think
about
there's a meeting though?
everything.
It's like this is what you say.
Yeah, I would assume that there is a lot
Because
of
that
that.
was Scott
Yes,
Boris. That was like he was talking, but Scott Boris's voice was coming out.
that is true. Do you think, before we move on to the Cardinals, do you think we're seeing a potential dynasty here with the Dodgers?
No, I don't think dynasties. I think dynasties mean you have to win
The
two
start of one.
probably.
Please let me. The start of one.
No, I don't because their stars are aging. And like if Otani, Freddie, and Mookie were 27, I'd say yes.
You don't
But
think they
like,
can win 3 of the next 4?
no, it hasn't happened in baseball.
I mean,
I think
it
they'll lose in the
has, but
NLDS next year.
well, they won't lose in the ALDS.
I
But
said NLDS.
oh,
I
I
think
think you
they'll
said
lose in the
ALDS.
NLDS last year, like they've done every other
Yeah,
year.
that's true. I mean, I just wondered, like, you get Glass now back.
They'll be
but
too
of
good
course-
next year. Sometimes you're
what?
too good to win, and that's what they've been. And this year they weren't too good to win. They were flawed.
And you
so
get
they won.
Otani to pitch next year, so that'll be interesting. It's gonna be fun to watch. Speaking of what could be fun to watch, the Cardinals, who we will not be watching, will be Kyle Gibson, Lance Lynn, and Keynan Middleton, which won't be fun. That was a terrible segue.
That was
I thought I had it
horrible
right
way to
here,
phrase
and it went
it.
away.
It
Completely
sounded like you
lost
were
it.
just saying we weren't going to watch the Cardinals. I was like, I don't think.
No.
Don't speak
Well, we
for me
don't know
there.
where we're going to watch them, but they'll be on somewhere
They'll
potentially.
be on something. I know we'll have whatever channel they're on because yeah. Um, yeah. So any of these surprising? I think we knew Keenan and Lynn were probably going to be their options were going to be declined. Kyle Gibson to me is the interesting one because if you're the Cardinals and you're looking at we need to get innings no matter what we're doing competitiveness wise. Like we need to get those innings have to be covered and putting it on all young guys is tough. That to me signals they're either keeping Michaelis or they're keeping Gray or they're keeping Fetty or they're keeping all three. That's what that means to me.
I would say that's probably true. Were you surprised by the Middleton move?
No, because I think if you're going to bring him back, you're probably going to bring him back for cheaper than what he was out.
Okay, so you think there's still a shot he comes back to St. Louis?
I would bring him back if he's apparently he was like a real. Ollie said this in the middle of last year that he was one of their leaders in the bullpen and they really liked having him around. If that's true, give him a couple $1 million and say come prove it again and give yourself a nice deal next year. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
He's
I
the
guess
only one I'd
now
bring
we
back,
just
though,
sort of
really
wait. Obviously, with all the other news, we just sort of wait to see if there's more moves to be made. I think that's a smart move to say Gibson. That doesn't mean they won't be back, but I don't think they will.
Yeah, it
be.
does.
Yeah,
it does. Because Gibson's not getting less than what you just declined from him. Lynn will
Yeah.
probably, but Gibson's not, and they're not bringing back Lance Lynn. I wouldn't be surprised if Lynn and Gibson or both maybe said, I'd like if I'm going to be pitching on a $10 million 1 year contract, I'd like it to be somewhere I can win. That would be understandable for both of them, I think. So we'll see. Do you think Sonny Gray is going to be traded? I think this is the way where we can lead into this because I'm leaning towards no. I don't think he's going to be.
Oh,
traded.
you are? Okay. Last time
Yeah.
I thought, well, here's the thing with all of that. We have no idea how any of those discussions went. There's been no
Good journalism. Hold on.
Oh,
I
all
got-
right.
I got
Well,
a
I
quote
love good
from John
journalism
Mozilla. Okay,
especially
now
when
it's
we
gone.
do it.
Well, you keep talking because I lost it. It's
Yeah,
my
I
fault.
just don't know how that went. I'm also wouldn't be surprised if Lance Lynn retires. I was gonna say that. Like
He says he isn't.
oh, okay. Well, then now I would be surprised. I guess I missed that. But I was
Oh
a
my
little
gosh,
surprised by the Keynan Middleton stuff. I just thought they would talk so much about how he'd been helping the young kids and everything. I thought he might be back. But anyway, let's go back to our good journalism that we're doing here.
So Mohan and well, this is actually really good journalism by Martin Kilcoyne from Fox 2, not by
Shout
me.
out, Martin.
Yeah, so he asked him something about have you had conversations with the older players about this movement? And he said, I can say this. I've had some early discussions, and I would say for the most part, people seem like they're excited about what we're trying to do. In relation to the Sonny Grays, Contreras, Arenados of the world. I get the vibe Sonny Gray is going to be the guy they keep. And I think I
wouldn't
would
be-
because I think he's the only one that I think if you trade him, you're immediately not being able to contend at all.
Yeah,
at all.
I wouldn't be shocked if all of them are back, to be honest with you. I'm not saying it won't. Huh?
I would. I think Arenado's gone.
Yeah, where do you LA?
Yeah, I mean, if they want him, if I were them, I wouldn't want him. But if they want him,
Yankees?
I've said this so many times. That's a disaster. If he goes there, he's
I
not self-aware at all.
Well, he has a no trade clause, correct? So he's going to get to
Yeah.
pick and choose where he wants to go, which does sort of hurt a little bit your trade options. But I think you're going to have to eat some of that money and get a lesser prospect anyway to make that trade.
I don't know if he'll
I
have
don't
to eat
think.
any of it if the other team doesn't have to give up anything.
Okay,
But
so you
here's
think
my
they'd
thing.
be
I'd rather
willing,
eat some.
same, and get a better prospect?
If that's an option, like obviously we don't know what the options are out there. Maybe no one's willing to give up a better prospect for that, which in that case, just dump the money. But I've reached a point where I just want him not to be here anymore. That might
I
sound
hate that.
harsh. I don't like it either, but it's the reality we're living in. It's a failure of a trade. Not a failure of a trade. It's a failure of the time following the trade, because that was supposed to be we're all in. We're getting Nolan Arenado to pair with Paul Goldschmidt. And it was a failure by the organization for the 4 years that followed. But to be fair, also a failure by him. They had two chances to go deep in the postseason. He did nothing. And I
Yeah,
keep hearing small sample size for the postseason. The reason the sample size was so damn small is because he did nothing. If he would have done
correct.
something, sample size would have gotten bigger because they would have won some games. So it sucks, and I never wanted this to be where we were at. But I think we got to live in the reality that we're currently in, and that's Nolan Arenado's not helping this team. Just on the field, not helping them much. He's blocking players, and he's had a really kind of piss poor attitude. That's where we're at.
Where do you think Flaherty ends up next year?
I don't know. So whoever wants to pay him the most, I would
I
say,
just that the reason I ask is
back in Detroit.
you had brought up last podcast about the Cardinals potentially going out and signing a couple of guys. And I was just kind of looking through the list. And if you look at the top of the list, I mean, I don't think it's going to be Scherzer or Verlander or Snell. Like, you're not going to pay those guys. It's not going to be Robbie Ray. I don't believe like that.
Oh God, please
I don't
no.
see any of that happening. But some guys kind of caught my eye that I kind of want to go over with you, because your idea was bring him in on a 1 year deal. If it works out, great, and you're in the playoff hunt, awesome. If not, that's somebody you can trade as an asset come the trade deadline. That's
Yeah.
the Miami Marlins. That's been their MO for the last few years. Maybe not as much this year, but in the past that was kind of their MO.
Yeah.
Guy like Charlie Morton, is that a guy that interests you?
For the last couple of years, he's kind of said, I'm staying in Atlanta, or I'm retiring. So unless I hear like that's not the case, I would assume he's gonna retire and go back to Atlanta.
Michael Waka, Shane Bieber, those guys enter like
Doesn't Michael Walker have an option? Some of these
I
guys.
don't know. He might. I did not honestly look at that, so I should have done that. I was
It
just
depends. Like
looking
Shane
on
Shane
Spotrac.
Bieber. Shane Bieber's an interesting one because I don't know what he's a really good pitcher, and he was really good to start last year before he got hurt, or was that the year before that? Either way, we were all kind of like doubting on Shane Bieber, and then he had a really, really good year whenever it was that he pitched last. I think he got hurt at the beginning of this year. Either way, he looked really good. It wouldn't surprise me if
Walk
he gets up. Go ahead.
No, sorry, Waka does have a player option. Sorry, I just wanted you to that
Yeah,
you are
so
correct.
I think November 4th is the deadline, so we'll know who actually are free agents by that time. But for like Bieber, he could get a four for $80 million. Someone probably offer him that, or he could say, "I want 1 year, 25, and I want to prove it and go get a bigger contract next offseason," because he's been injured quite a bit and he's coming off a big injury. I don't know if the Cardinals are going to be willing to pay him whatever it is that he's going to get, even for a 1 year contract,
I
based on
also
them
just
cutting
wonder, like
salary.
some of these guys, like I was looking at Severino, Nick Martinez, Andrew Haney, like those are guys that potentially, but I mean, Severino might have earned himself more than a 1 year deal,
We
to be
we
honest.
want the Severino from last year, not this year.
Yeah, right. I'm just saying, like guys like that, you don't even know that they would get. I don't even know I mean, Andrew Haney, Kikuchi. I think he's probably earned more than a 1 year deal, right?
Kikuchi's an interesting one. I wouldn't be surprised if the Astros bring him back because how good he was when he got there. I don't know. I don't know who's out there. I just they're probably Frankie Montas. He's probably a free agent, like guys like
Martin
that.
Perez.
And I want to get many of them. I'm talking maybe one,
No,
maybe
I
get
know
one
you
of
are. I
them.
was just trying to. Michael Lorenzen is always out there.
No, none of those. I want guys with like legitimate upside, not Martin Perez,
Katana.
who's like the opposite of that. I mean, he's earned a couple years, I would think.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder. It's going to be interesting because those guys are going to fall. Well, we see it every year where there's guys getting close to spring training, they're not signed, and they sign a 1 year
Mhm.
deal. I think it's a good move by the Cardinals, and I would be okay with them signing. You said one. I'd be okay with them signing two, depending on what they do. Depending on what they do with Fetty, Michaelis, and Max. Let's say that. Okay.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about Matt's. Okay, let's do this. Right now they have four guys that are set to be in their rotation come right now come next year. It's Gray, Fetty, Matz, Michaelis, and whatever
Yeah.
order you want to put them. How many of those guys are in the 2025 rotation? I'm not talking injuries because we know Matts won't be, but I'm saying like set to be in the rotation come opening day. How many of those 4 guys?
I think 3.
I think Michaelis is a lock,
Same.
and
Even
I
though I
think
hate it.
Sonny Gray could be a lock depending on how that conversation goes. It's Gray and Math. I mean, not Gray. Sorry, Fetty and Math that I just have no clue what they're gonna
I
do with.
think that honestly, I believe, especially after the Tommy what he just did, that they're going to do all they can to keep Eric Fetty. I think you brought that
I
up
think I said that
potentially on
last
here.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was going to give you your props. Relax. I
That's
will
just
give you your props, but I thought you had said that, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Like I think that does add up for this organization. But I also think give him a shot. He had a 3.75 ERA here. I don't know what he ended up with on the year. I do not have that in front of me, nor am I going to look it up. But I think that's a guy that can eat some innings for you. I love your idea of Miles Michaelis. You're going to throw 350 fucking innings. Like you're going to
You're
throw
gonna break
150
the
pitches a
record.
night, and
He's
you're
gonna
going
be
to throw
Cy
three.
Young.
Yeah, and you're gonna right. You're gonna throw 350 innings, and we do not care what happens to you after this. Like I would love that, by the way. But I think Steven Matz could there could be some interest from a team on Steven Matz on because it's
Okay.
1 year.
You know the question I have about him though? Steven Matz is kind of like the guy we're talking about that you'd go sign on a 1 year
He
deal.
is. He
You
is.
know, so maybe you say you're making every start until the deadline, and hopefully he has one of those 2021 Toronto Blue Jays years, and then you get something for him. Maybe that's what you do. You say we're starting you every day because we can afford that if you're bad. And he goes on. We've seen it every year. He's been healthy, or like relatively healthy towards the end of the year. He goes on like a month run of being great. And if he puts that together from May to July, you could get something for that.
What can I tell you? What I hate about that? All of that is that means McGreevy, Grisefo, and Matthews. 2 of those 3 are at AAA, and maybe they
I
need to
think
be. Maybe they need to be. But it just
no,
seems
not
like at
McGreevy.
this point, McGreevy needs to be in the big leagues. Feels like Grisefo probably needs to be. And I think Quinn Matthews is going to come in. I think there has to be an open shot for him to make a roster spot in the rotation come spring training. But I don't know if I don't know if they want him to start in AAA or not.
I think I think there needs to be 2 of them, 2 guys. 2 of those 4 need to be in the rotation. And also, here's the thing: like, if Michaelis is really bad, and then we're like, okay, Matthews is dominating AAA, he needs to be up here. There should be no reservations about DFAing him then at that point, right?
Yeah,
You know, like
I
he should
agree.
be. It should be if he needs to go, he needs to go because you don't have another year after. Fetty's the one that I think they probably should just trade. Um,
Really?
because I think he has more value now than he most likely will when it comes next August.
So you don't see him having a good 2025?
He could be good. Is he going to be great? Because it's only 2 months of him, and what teams are going to convince themselves that Eric Fetty's a game changer in the World Series?
Yeah, or in the playoffs at all.
But you know what teams will convince themselves that he'll give them 190 innings, and that's very valuable right now.
Yeah. Yes, I think they've got options. I'm intrigued. Do you think step one is Ryan Helsley? Do you think that's the number one? Or do you think they slow
Uh,
play that into
it just depends on
after
offers.
Christmas?
I think it just depends on offers. Jump on the ones that you really like. Like target prospects, don't target packages. Say, okay, if the Orioles come to you, say this is okay, this is the prospect we want. And if they are willing to give it up, they go get him. Like that's what they
Why
should be
are
doing is targeting specific guys. Target one guy that you really want from each organization that wants your guys and try as hard as you can to go get that guy. Don't give me 3 mediocre ones. Give me one good one.
why are you so hell bent on it being the Orioles outside of the fact that they have great prospects?
That's why.
Okay, because I just feel like
I want a
their
team.
bullpen.
It's not that good. They have one guy
Well, they're getting the mountain back, and then they have Cano right there with
who's
him. Those are
okay. He's fine.
he's really good.
Is he? What was
Well, I
his
mean,
ERA this year?
he was when he was in the setup role for the mountain. Yes.
No,
So,
no offense to him. He's 30 years old and he's a reliever, so I'm not gonna buy into him being good every year.
well, you could say the same for Ryan Helsley.
I couldn't. He's not 30 and he's
Well,
also elite.
what is he, 28?
He's elite.
I'm just saying, I
He
don't
was
know that
really
the
good.
Orioles,
He was really good, but he also had a 1.3 whip. I'm
that's,
just saying, like
that's a
the
reliever.
or
Hold on. We discount whips with relievers because they give you a heart attack every
no, I
night.
don't.
Well, you kind of have to at some points for a setup guy, like, yes. But
He was
here's
good
the
last
thing.
year. But I'm
Yes, I
going for the
know.
Orioles because what they need to be doing is going to organizations that are stockpiled with an insane amount of really talented prospects that they are probably coming to terms with. We can't play 15 guys every night. Those are the guys. Those are the organizations you need to be targeting because they're the ones that have guys that are expendable. That's why
Do you know
Connor
where I
Norby's
think?
on the Marlins.
Do you know where I think Ryan Helsley fits incredibly well?
Baltimore.
The Dodgers.
Mm, I don't know. They don't really give up. When was the last time they gave up a lot for a reliever?
I don't know that answer. I
They
have no
don't need
clue.
to because
Like
they make relievers out of thin air. Daniel
they,
Hudson just retired. I
I
can't
know,
believe that guy was still pitching. Two-time World
I
Series
know.
champ Daniel Hudson, by the way.
What is who's the closer in Atlanta? That's another spot that would always
Rice
intrigue
Hill.
me. Okay, yeah, so probably that's not a spot that he would
He's
be.
way better than Rice Hill Iglesias.
Yeah,
I don't know. Here's
yeah,
the thing. If there's a guy like that out there, a lot of teams are going to be interested.
yeah, I think so. And
And
I'm intrigued to see what
Phillies
Texas
is a really
does.
good one.
So
Phillies.
I think that's a team that you could maybe get
Mm,
talk to.
Texas is cutting payroll. I don't know what they're doing. They said they're cutting payroll.
Do you think the Yankees are sold on Luke Weaver as their closer?
I would hope not if they have a
Yeah, I would hope
plan.
not as well. I mean, I think there are definitely a lot of teams that are going to be in the hunt that you could, but I agree with you. Look at those prospects. I mean, your Baltimore, yes, we all agree. I just don't know that Baltimore is looking at a closer more than they're looking at starters or they're looking at
Maybe
other
not.
additions. I don't know. I'm not
So you're
saying
telling
that.
me they want Miles Michaelis.
Hey, if we could package both of those for your guy Mayo, let's do it.
Was there any thought for you to not declining Gibson's option and then trading him for anything?
Do you?
Could you
I
have done
did
that?
honestly hadn't thought about it, but I also wonder if there was just no trademark like market for
You're
Kyle Gibson as
you're
far as a
trading
trade.
because yeah, because you're trading him at market value because he's getting paid like what 11 million. That's about what probably what he'd get as a free agent,
Yeah,
10 to 12 in that range. But I was thinking about that, like, what if he could have gotten just like a single A prospect? It would have been worth it.
yeah. I don't.
But I
Do
think
you
you're doing
think they
right
were
by
scared they
him.
couldn't? Like that might be the
No,
issue.
I think it's more that you're doing right by him by giving him the option to go choose wherever he wants to go play.
I want to ask you this too. Speaking of the Cardinals, I kind of like to if we could get Kareem or Kyle on here soon, because I'm really intrigued to see what they think is going to happen with Chase Davis this year. Where they think, I assume he starts at Double A, and I'm
I
also
would guess.
I'm intrigued to see where they think Weatherholt starts, and I'm intrigued to see where what they Tink Hintz has been the kind of anomaly. Like we just, I guess anomaly is not the right word. Just a question mark as far as not knowing his durability, how many innings he can go. I think it'd be good to, here in the future to get those guys. I have a lot of questions about that minor league system. I mean, I think Jimmy Crooks is going to be in Springfield, right? Don't you? The way that he progressed this year as the minor league player of the year
He
for
was
the
already in
Cardinals.
Springfield.
Did he? Not Springfield, Memphis. Sorry, Memphis.
Yeah, he should be in Memphis.
Yeah,
I would
I
guess he'd be their starter.
I would
Um,
think so. And then I'm intrigued to see what they do with Bernal. Like I don't know if he then bumps up.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because like if Contreras is still here, then one of Herrera or Pajas has to be down at AAA.
We've seen that that is not the truth.
They're gonna carry three catchers.
They've done it so many times.
Not they didn't last year. Not often at least.
But they did.
They
I'm just
won't. One
saying.
of those guys will be at AAA if that's what
But it
happens.
also is possible
Herrera's
that
out of options, right?
I think it's also I don't. That's a great question. I don't know
I
that
think he
answer.
is.
It's also a you brought this up either on the last pod or one before it that you could see Wilson maybe playing some first base next year. So that if that happens, then I think you could definitely see all three of those guys on the roster.
I don't think Contreras is gonna play first base, sadly. They're gonna trade him, aren't they?
I don't know, dude. I legit like I have no like I think a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I was almost like sold that they were going to trade all three of them. But then the more I think about it, I could see a world where all three are back as well.
No, there's no way.
I
There's no
don't think I
way.
see a world where all three are gone. Like that's where I'm at now.
No, I don't either because I really don't think Sonny Gray is getting traded.
And
Um,
if I'm Sonny, I don't see why if you're Wilson Contreras, like I don't know that he gets traded either because where does Wilson Contreras go to? And I'm sure somebody knows this answer that's going to be in competing for a World Series next year. That's going to desperately need a catcher. I don't know that answer. I'm not saying
they
there's
don't
not a
need the
spot out
catcher; they
there.
need the bats. How much
Yeah,
better would the
we
Yankees have been this postseason if they had Contreras in the middle of their order?
yeah. So we're back to the Yankees.
No, I'm just saying, like every team could have used the Dodgers could have used him. He would have been in the top six
Yeah, I
in their
get all
order.
of that. I'm just saying I don't know. I think Wilson wants to catch. So does Wilson have a no trade deal or
I would imagine
clause as
so.
well? So he's going to have some say in that. I mean, obviously, that's what makes it tough to deal these guys is the no trade clause.
I don't know if it's as tough because I think the teams that are going to want them are contenders anyway, and they probably would want to go to most of them.
That's possible. I guess
It
also it
would
depends
be,
on markets though.
yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I don't see a world where Arenado's back. I really don't. I think that chapter's closed.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. If Goldie's gone, let's just close the entire window on that one.
That sucks.
It sucks
2022,
terribly.
I've been looking back at 2022, especially since what Monty did last year with Texas and what Quintana's did with New York and did with us when he was here. Man, that team actually had the potential probably to go win a World Series if they would have won that first series.
It sure felt like it. I still believe that had they got past the Phillies, they at least get to the World Series. I do believe that.
Yeah, and that's what sucks
But
about
again,
baseball. But
yeah,
maybe
now
not. You know why? Because they were piggybacking Monty with Miles Michaelis instead of starting him.
yeah.
And they were gonna lose
But
anyway because they were gonna start Wayno in game 3.
yeah, that was ugh.
Jack Flaherty has to be cackling at the fact that he wasn't even given opportunities in 21 or 22 to pitch.
It's wild. It is
And then the
wild.
Cardinals gonna say, haha, you had a 7 ERA or whatever.
And he say, haha, I have a World Series ring.
Did you see his interview last night?
I did not.
He was so drunk. I don't even know how he was standing. He wasn't making any sense. It was great.
I love that for him and for the whole team. Like I said, I've got some friends down here that are Dodgers fans. I'm very pumped for them. Like very
I'm not.
pumped
They
for
just
them.
won one. I'm not pumped for them. I'm pumped for
And it's
Tommy
been
and
4 years.
Jack.
I'm also pumped that it wasn't the Yankees. Like that's the thing.
I'm just like I said earlier, they're not the Yankees anymore, so I just don't care.
Yeah. I think the only team I could root for the Yankees in a World Series is against the Cubs. I really truly believe that.
Reds, no way. I don't want
No,
them
I'd
ever
root for
winning
the
one.
Reds.
You know, Brewers. I don't want. I think it's too funny that the Brewers have never won a World Series.
Ever. Ever. What are there? Are there 4 franchises now that have never won?
I'd root for them over the Mets too. By the way.
Padres have never won. Mariners have never won. Rays have never won, and the
Rockies
Brewers
have
have
never
never won.
won.
Rockies have never won. So 5. I think that's it.
Yeah, I had a thought. Now I lost it.
You've had that happen a few times.
I don't know what it was. I'm getting worried about my memory. Maybe I need to go to a doctor.
Hey, by the way, for those of you who potentially are bored this weekend, Caleb's doing the color commentating for the U of I hockey. I would go check that out. What days are those?
Friday and Saturday. I have
There
to
you
go
go.
interview our second line right winger in like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Is that on Marquee Sports?
No, not until actually, I don't know. I don't think until next week.
Where can our viewers find you doing
Oh my
color
gosh.
commentating for the U
Facebook
of I
on
hockey
you.
team?
It's on YouTube and Facebook on
Okay, there we
UI7
go.
Newsroom
There we
and
go.
Illini Hockey. Go to either one, you'll find it.
Yeah. Do you have a call? Do you have the goal call ready to go?
I'm the color guy. I don't have a goal call.
Oh, that's right. Do you have the? Do you
I'm not
have
gonna
the?
step on it. Hold on 1 second. Goal.
Yeah, right. I want you to yell over him.
Yeah. No, I don't. I actually don't know how I'm gonna do. I don't. I
Do
have
you have
zero
all the
clue.
stats ready to? You got to fill in the stats and the stories, and then what you got to do is make up things of what you did when you played hockey, even though you've never played hockey in your life.
Like yeah, I'll be Jim Edmonds. So he
Here's
texted
what
me
you
earlier.
need to do. Here's what you
Yeah,
need to
I'll
do.
be John Smoltz and talk about 1980 like anybody cares.
I have the feeling that you're going to be like the guy from Major League, and hopefully your play-by-play guy, Bob Uecker.
That'd be but I think I'll be Bob Uecker.
I'll
Just
be
a touch
watching. I'm gonna
outside.
try and find it and watch it.
Yeah, try and find it. We've been doing it for like 6 weeks and you still don't know where it's at, which is your
I have
problem,
no idea.
honestly.
You send me clips. That's what I watch, or the
I've
clips.
never sent you a clip.
Well, you sent me something that I watched.
Never once. Not one
also, by the
time.
way, for those of you who don't know, Caleb is Emmy nominated.
Not yet.
Well, essentially, pre-nominated. That's pretty awesome.
Okay. I don't know what to say.
That's good journalism.
Yeah, it's great. I'm also covering. You know what I have to go do? I have to go cover a local Republican watch party for the election. And I'm not excited for it.
Nah.
I have to do live shots from it and like interview people. People like it's
I
gonna
can't
be
wait.
like the Republicans, like for like the state senator and like those candidates, and I have to interview them if they win or lose.
Good luck.
Yeah, that's not gonna be fun. I feel like I'm gonna see a lot of drugs. I'm gonna see a lot of secrets I'm not supposed to see.
Potentially sleep with one eye open from here on out. We watched what was the show with the crazy guy? on Netflix. Where he's the president? I can't think of Kevin Spacey.
Oh, House of Cards.
Yeah, it is House of Cards. We saw that, so we know. We
I
know
don't know
what
if
it's
state
like.
senators have the same poll.
I think they might. I think it's
I
very
don't
possible
think
that they
so.
might.
I don't think
Um,
so.
guess who was in our golf course on Sunday? Steve
Drew
Gleason.
Brees. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, playing golf with his. They said his wheelchair is like massive, and it did a lot of damage to his greens. But it's cool that
How
he's
was he
out
playing
there.
golf?
I did. I tried to get it explained to me, and there was a lot of moving parts. But I think
Was
it's
he
cool.
actually playing?
He was.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I
But
didn't know
yeah,
he could do
they
that.
had some mechanism that was helping him do that, which I think is science is fucking amazing. But I
Yeah,
wasn't
it is
there, so
really
I didn't get
cool.
to see him. But I guess he was out there with like 30 people. It's a pretty big group. So
That was cool. I feel bad for
yeah,
Drew Brees. Well, this is the last we'll say about the Saints.
yeah.
I feel bad for
Well,
Drew Brees. He's like for some reason this is the year he chose to follow the Saints everywhere. He was at
I
the game in
know.
LA. Like Drew, stop going to the games, dude.
Well, it's because of the Hall of Fame. He was put in the Saints Hall of Fame. So
He was at the he was in
do you
LA.
did
They were
you
playing
ask
the
me this
Chargers
question
probably.
or did someone else ask me this question? Did they retire his number?
I don't know if it's officially been retired yet, but I would imagine there aren't any number nines out there.
That's what I would assume as well. So somebody else asked me that if I knew if once he went into the Saints Hall of Fame, if that meant nobody could wear it. I said, why could you imagine someone wearing number 9 for the Saints? But I could not.
No, that's never going to happen. All
Yeah.
right. So before we get out of here, because we probably need to, because this is winding down a bit. This sucks, by the way. That's what I wanted to say earlier. This sucks.
The
Watching,
podcast or what's going on
yes,
right now?
everything that goes with Cardinals baseball sucks
Yeah,
right now.
it does.
This sucks.
It
Like
does.
last year, at least we're like, okay, what pitchers are they gonna go get? And we could dream on pitchers that clearly they were never going to pay. Like Yamamoto.
You remember when we were all bought in? We were all in on Yamamoto.
Lars Nootbaar likes him. Like the year before that, we were like Sean Murphy or Contreras. Which one? We actually got one of those guys, thankfully. And now it's like, who are we gonna trade? How much money are they gonna shed? How bad can they get next year?
Now it's Andrew Haney watch. That's the watch we're on.
He might even be out of their price range. He's gonna get like $8 million.
Alex Cobb, Alex Wood. Those are the guys.
Alex Cobb's an interesting one, actually. That's one I would be into. I don't know.
It does suck.
How excited are you
but
for the next season?
Okay, here's what I'll say. I'm not necessarily excited for the day in, day out of the games. What I am excited is that as a fan, it feels like they're starting to put things into place that lays out a clear direction. Now, we don't know where that direction is going to end. We have no clue. Like the hope is
And
that all these young
disappointment,
guys, half
probably.
of them are really good. That's the hope, right? But we don't know that yet. But I do believe, like maybe with, we've seen it before with guys where when they're instilled with you're showing up to the park, you're playing every day. No matter what you do, you're playing every day. I think maybe that could do something for some of these young guys like Walker, like Gorman, like Scott, potentially Sajasi, potentially a Luke Baker / Alec Burleson. Like we don't know. I think that could be very powerful for those guys. Hopefully Herrera. Now we'll wait to see on that. But I am excited that it feels like
Colby Mayo.
so far, I think today was kind of the sixth step. If you lay out everything from the offseason on, fifth step, whatever. It felt like today, like everything they've done so far kind of makes sense. Like I like what they're doing. Now, are there question marks? Absolutely. Are there question marks with Brant Brown? Yeah, we don't know. I also we've talked about hitting coaches on here. Who knows? Like if your players perform, you look great. If they don't, you look like you have no idea what you're doing. That's literally what it comes down to. But I think that the Cardinals at least have figured out what sucks. And a buddy of mine posted this on my Facebook today when I posted about the declining the options is that we should have never gotten to this point. That's the problem. We should have never gotten to this point as the St. Louis Cardinals organization to where, now we realize everything we've been doing for the last 5 to 8 years is wrong.
You know what they say about empires, they always fall.
That is true.
Complacency gets you. When's that's gonna be the United States at some point, probably too. When's that happening?
I don't like that talk at all. That's not.
It happened to Rome, and I know
it might be at that party you're at.
Maybe, honestly, that could be true. Yeah, I think I'm excited because I think they have it's unique that they have an opportunity to surprise me and not disappoint me. Yeah. I don't think if they go 75 and bad at math, 87, is that right?
Sure. Yes, it is right.
75 and 87. I don't think but they show signs of young guys looking better. I don't think I'll be disappointed because I'll be like, okay, that's kind of what we're signed up for. But if they go 87 and 75, I'm making it easy for myself and doing it backwards. then and make the playoffs and they're the third and they're the sixth wild card seed, then I'm just surprised and happy. But what I don't have is expectations of them and continuously with the cycle of falling one step short. How many years were they one starter short, or they were one bat short, or one bat and one starter short, and they never ever got that guy that we needed to put us over the hump? We don't have to deal with that now because they're 5 steps short and they're figuring it out.
Also, to be fair, look at what the Tigers did. They said we're playing all the young guys. We're playing every one of them. And next thing you know, they're in
baby.
They're in the NLDS or the ALDS. Like, who knows? That's what makes baseball so awesome, is that who knows? If the group comes together and all these young guys gel, you could be I'm not saying they're going to win 90, 95 games. I'm not saying that. But it could be fun, at least fun baseball. It could also be dreadful. Like that, the opposite is possible.
Yeah, but I know they won 83 games last year, and that's like objectively not horrible by any means. It felt horrible, honestly. The last half of the year, it felt really bad. And the year before was actually horrible. So like it's not new. Like I've seen people like John Denton said this, and he said, there's gonna be guys that you don't even know their names playing. First off, wrong. Almost everyone that's gonna be starting, we all have already seen play. That's
Correct.
just not true. You're just wrong. He said fans are in for, a really rough year. What did we just watch the last 2 years? Why are we acting like this is the deconstruction of the Houston Astros?
Right.
Like that's not what's happening. This is the deconstruction of a team that was deconstructing in front of our eyes.
Crumbling, some might say.
You know what? Mo's not even deconstructing the team. They did it themselves.
Yeah. Yep.
Arenado blew it all up. Like a C4. He came in and blew it up. That's what happened.
All right, let's get out of here. Do you have plans tonight, since we are going to, might as well piss more people off? What are you doing tonight for Halloween?
I'm going out somewhere. I don't know. I'm going to go figure out. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get my news package done for our pregame show tomorrow. And then when I finish that, I'll be going. Yep. And then guess what I got to do at 10 o'clock tomorrow in the morning?
What?
I have to go watch cross country.
They run. That's all they do.
It's the Big Ten championships.
Oh, that's cool though. That'll be fun.
No, it's not. No, it won't be at all. It will be. It will be not even close to fun. It won't be. Trust me, it won't be fun. I know now it won't.
I helped do a couple cross country like conference meets for my friends who were coaches.
It
was something. It was cold too.
I have to go interview players too. Hopefully we get at least one or two
players. Are they players or just runners? Do you play cross country or do you just run cross country?
I don't know. I have to interview 2 athletes, and I hope that they win so that I don't have to interview people that are sad.
We're heading downtown and then to Frenchman Street tonight. So that's our plan.
I thought you said Frenchman was a mess now.
It is, but we're going there for Halloween because evidently that's like the hub for New Orleans Halloween.
That doesn't sound like a good idea, but have fun.
We're going to see. We're going to see how this goes. So,
all right, well. You know who else sucks? The Pelicans. They also suck.
Yeah. The Saints, the Blues, so do the Blues. They suck as well. So they lost.
You notice my haircut?
I do. The haircut looks good.
Thanks. It's like
but the Pels, every team we root sucks right now. So there's that. All right, guys.
Yeah,
let's get out of here, though, before.
Sports.
No one's listening. So who cares? Like, no one's listening anymore.
Guys, also, before you go, if you're still here, thank you. What do you want us to talk about
also,
this
why?
Offseason? Before stop doing that, or else why are we doing this? Before they trade people inevitably or don't, and we're all mad. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If there are like certain topics you want us to cover, and I'm not talking about like looking back at the 1982 Cardinals. I don't want to do that.
I can do that. I love that topic.
No, I'm just saying I don't want to do like historical videos. I'm saying like if there's actual topics of like opinions, just let us know in the comments because
we'll also put this. We'll put this up on YouTube. Can we put this up on? I have no idea how to work Spotify or Apple. Is there any way we can put that up? Can we put a comment? I don't know that we can.
I think there is a comment section, but I don't know how to use it.
I don't know. We're making money on both of those platforms. I don't know how to get it or what to do with it. I think
we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna have to start a class action because I don't think I'm seeing any of the money that we're supposedly making.
I don't understand. Like I'm gonna need to hire a person just to teach me how to get the money that we're making on these podcasts because I don't know how. There's
75 cents that we're missing currently.
I think it's more than that actually, but I don't know.
Maybe $2. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure when you're down here.
I know I insert ad breaks on Spotify.
Figure that out. So I think we're getting screwed by Spotify. That's what I think.
I think we just don't know how to work the website.
But yes, we'll put that up on YouTube in the comment section, and we would love to hear that. I agree 100%. So everybody have a fantastic weekend. Have a safe and happy Halloween. Always go for the Kit Kats. That's the answer. The Reese's also are good, but Kit Kats, the small Kit Kats are
Reese's and
game changers.
Butterfingers.
Well, oh, come on. Butterfingers low on the totem pole.
No,
Hershey's
they're
are
good.
good. Yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Good Bars, those are good. Well, okay, either way, go for the Kit
New
Kats.
bar.
Everyone have an amazing weekend. We will be back soon. Go Cards.